take great pride and feel very lucky to be in our 5th generation of the candy business.
In 1904, I wasn't there at the time, but your great-grandfather had a grocery store in Reading, and from historical documents from the Reading Historical Society, it says that he had a grocery store in downtown Reading selling chocolates. And that was the earliest indication of a connection between the early name and candy. In 1909, he joined forces with another guy in Reading by the name of Richardson and formed a company called Richardson and Early. And that's when they started wholesaling chocolates.
My dad and grandfather started making candy in the basement of their home in 1938. My grandfather was 36, my dad was 12. Small batches, unique recipes, and they opened their store in 1938. He got married to my mom in 1948. My parents were a team. They were such a team. They were in the business with my grandfather and grandmother until 1956. And then we moved to Baumstown, this little town outside of Reading, where my parents made the candy in the basement of our house. In 1961, my parents decided to open a retail store. We moved to Allentown. My grandfather's stores in Reading were called Early's Old-Fashioned Chocolates. Then when my parents opened the store in Allentown, it became Josh Early Candies. The name was in both titles, but they distinguished themselves in that way. And one of the greatest things is the recipes that my father and grandfather created in 1938 are still the recipes that we use today.
To me, it's like, every family has your grandmother's or your mother's favorite recipe, whether it be for potato salad or whatever. And no one can do it like your mother or your grandmother. These recipes are similar. They're, it's a commercial enterprise, but they are family recipes, closely guarded family recipes developed by family members.
When we opened our Hamilton Boulevard store in 1961, my youngest sister Lisa, who is now very involved in the business as well, she was about 3. And my parents ran the business, made the candy, so there was a crib set up in the back of the store, in the back of the production area, where Lisa would take her naps because my mom had to keep her close by. And the rest of us were in school at that point.
That was your mom's maternity leave.
That
was the extent of it.
We've been together since we're 16. We've known each other since we're 14. So it was a natural fit. My dad and mom and Barry clicked instantly. It was chemistry right off the bat. And so in 1972, Barry came into the business, started with scrubbing the floor, sweeping the floor, washing the cream beaters from the ground up.
When PennDOT took our property on Hamilton Boulevard in 1986, we had a couple of years, to anticipate the move. And my father-in-law and invited me to have some input in developing another store. And I think the most telling thing about it was that we locked the doors at 4224 Hamilton Boulevard one night, opened the doors here at 4640 Tillman the next morning at 9 o'clock, and never lost a minute of business. That was in 1986 when this store opened. Prior to that, we opened the Bethlehem store in 1982 on the Nazareth Pike in Bethlehem.
I came into the business full-time in 1994. My sister Lisa came into the business before I did. Basically, Lisa, Barry, and I have been here forever.
Ever since I was a kid, I can remember sweeping floors around here. Spent kind of busy work around here in high school. My parents were very clear in saying, this has got to be something you want to do. This is not just going to be handed to you. This is going to be something you have to work for, and you can't fake doing this. It's got to be a passion. So from a very early age, my father was the role model for me in this business. And the shoes that I will need to fill are big ones.
My mom is an early. My grandfather had 4 daughters, so no son to carry on the Josh Early name, but she and her sisters grew up in the business, as did myself and my siblings. I personally entered the business in 2002 as an employee, but have always been involved, one way or another. Just as a little kid growing up here, I feel like this has been a part of my life forever, which I'm very proud of.
As owners who are also part of the production process, there's a sense of pride you take in every part of that process. It's not just, giving directives from the top and hoping everything works out. When you know your grandfather's name is on that building, you have a inevitable sense of pride that comes with upholding the quality that ultimately is on our shelves.
That is, I can say, probably one of the most important things for me, and one of the things that has brought me here is just the pride I've always felt in what my grandfather built, in what my dad then stepped in to do at a young age when he and my mom got together, and what he and my mom and my aunt have continued to do for decades now, and what I hope to continue with my brother.
Every day coming to work, it's very rewarding. I can tell you, I enjoy coming to work. I see my own kids, running around and slowly getting involved in the business, and it's the thought of them being a part of that, my nephews included. It's really, really heartwarming and exciting to think about what the future holds.
I know what it meant to me growing up. I know what a huge part of my childhood this business was, and to be able to see my kids now experiencing that and being able to tell them stories and have them really be part of this is so special.
One of our mottos is the quality of our product and our customer service are what keep us in business, and we strive very, very hard to maintain those 2 areas every day. When you walk in here, we want you to leave happy. People walk in happy because it's a great product, and we want you to leave equally happy.